Yeah, our boy Triple H just celebrated 1 year as the head of creative, the head booker of in the
Our man.
WWE. So we're doing a segment called "Bow Down to the King," and because we are going to talk some great stuff about Triple H.
Bow down to the, bow down to the king. Bow down to the, bow down to the king.
Shout out to Motorhead. That song is fire.
Yeah, I love.
Um,
I think that song's better than "Time to Play the Game" by Motorhead. I think that's the best
I
Triple
think
H thing.
so. I
Yeah,
think
King
so.
of
I
Kings.
think so.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
but
But yes,
yeah, we're going to talk Triple H. We're going to talk things that we've liked in the year that he's been around, things that we haven't really liked, what's hit, what's missed.
I
Um,
can't believe it's been a year.
yeah,
Holy.
it's crazy. It's
So we've
crazy.
been doing this for over a year.
We started our other podcast a year, yeah, and
Oh,
then
that it was our other one. Okay, got it, got it. I was like,
we
we were
started
talking about
TikToking about
this.
a year ago,
Yeah.
and then we started yeah, and then we started this one in December. So the
Oh, okay.
AEW one that drops is going to be episode 60. So we're
All right.
almost at that century mark,
Yeah, I
and
can't wait
almost
for
at that
our
year mark.
1 year. We're gonna party, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Our 1 year, I'll
So
do the show naked. All right, let's.
there you go.
All
It's
right.
gonna be legend. Wait for it. Dairy. Legendary.
Barney would do it naked. All right, you ready?
100%. Yeah.
Let's go. As always, we start off with the most handsome dude in the world, the honorary dude himself, shooting star press. Are you just gonna throw him out there? Or are we gonna start with hots and then do not?
Yeah.
What are we
Yeah.
gonna? You want to start off with hots?
We'll
Just
start
throw
off
out
with
all your
hots.
hots.
Yeah.
Throw out all your hots, and I'll tell you if I agree or if I have new ones or what are your hots? Throw them out there. What
All
has
right.
Triple H done well?
He's long-term storytelling. Yeah, that's
Yes,
it.
sir.
That's all I've got. I mean, he
That's
is
you have one. All
that's
right.
the only no, but he's brought back long-term storytelling, not just with the bloodline that's been going on for 3.5 years, but WrestleMania, he was the culmination of a long-term story between Finn Balor and Edge, the story that's
Mhm.
been going on, since Edge brought the Judgment Day into the WWE, and created the group, and then they kicked him out, and then they've been feuding ever since. He brought back long-term storytelling with the Seth Rollins Logan Paul match. I mean, they had
Mhm.
some stuff that went down at the Royal Rumble. I mean, that's kind of sort of long-term storytelling from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania.
Mhm.
It's about 3 to 4 months of build. Um, I'm trying to think what else happened at WrestleMania, but it's just been a lot of
You were there. So.
long-term stories. Dominic and Ray, there's one. That's been a Dominic turned on Rey Mysterio at Clash at the Castle
Mhm.
in September of last year, and didn't they separated them? They kept them separate. How they did that is beyond me, but they kept them separate all the way until April for WrestleMania, because they wanted to have that match at WrestleMania Goes Hollywood in LA. So Triple H has brought back long-term storytelling, and that's been my biggest hot for him. And then, of course, the relevance and prestige brought back to the IC title and the US titles.
Good one.
Those have been a big hot for me. And he has, I think my favorite thing about Triple H that I give him so much credit for, that I don't see a lot of people really giving him credit for. He does not he doesn't really put his stamp on things. And I mean that in a good way. Like, he doesn't get tired of stuff. Vince McMahon would come in one day and say, "Oh, we got to kick Sami Zayn out of the bloodline. I don't understand it." And instead, Triple H just lets things cook,
Mhm.
and he lets things go where they go. And he doesn't end things abruptly because, "Oh, I'm bored with it. It's time to move on. It's time to kick Edge out of Judgment Day because we want the Judgment Day to be supernatural." And then Vince gets fired, and that never happened, thank God. But it's just things like that. Triple H doesn't end things abruptly because he's bored. He likes to see
Mhm.
things cook. He likes to let them marinate. And look at what has transpired because of that. You've had amazing segment after amazing segment after amazing segment with the Bloodline. You've had great stuff with Judgment Day. You've had great stuff with Rhea Ripley. You've had great stuff with Trish, and even the Bayley damage control stuff. Their promos have been great. So yeah, he doesn't end things abruptly because the fans don't like it, or he doesn't end things abruptly because he doesn't like it and he's bored with it. He
Mhm.
lets a majority of stuff cook, and I appreciate that from him.
I agree with everything you said. And another thing that just to bring up your point before I bring up some of my hots is that he also doesn't put himself out there all the time. Like when Vince was running, we saw Vince all the time. And I don't want to dog Vince because Vince Stone Cold is probably the greatest rivalry in the history of wrestling, bar none. But Vince was always there, man. He was always, you don't see Triple H out here constantly on TV. He's been there when it's necessary. But other than that, you don't see him all the time. So props to him for keeping himself out of it. But some of my hots was number one. He took over SummerSlam 2022, correct? It was like a day after he took over.
Yeah.
And he gave us Brock versus Roman, and that he already had to deal with. And everybody was like, Brock versus Roman. And he made that shit spectacular. That was the whole tractor lifting up the ring and Roman falling through and Brock throwing the mic and Roman catching it. And that match was their best match ever. And I just got to say, from the start, he had been killing it. He's done amazing things like the rise of Dom Dom and Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley always should have been a star, and now because of him, she is. Dom Dom just getting the chance. He would have never got the chance under Vince. Seth being the champ. Seth would have been a champ millions of times under Vince. He really wasn't. I mean, he got the thing, but that was probably a Triple H rub as well. But them creating a belt for him, Seth deserved that. The whole Sami Zayn bloodline storyline, I don't think that would have happened with just Vince. And it worked so well, and the bloodline was dying, and Sami brought life to it. And I think that life is still continuing because I don't think we would have the tribal court and all the other stuff going on if it wasn't for Sami Zayn. And I want to talk about Austin Theory. He literally, I know we were dogging him earlier, but in the long run, I thought Triple H killed Austin Theory's career by having him lose that briefcase. And I'm still eating my boot and hat and everything else since then because Austin Theory's had an 8-month IC title reign. So once again, Vince here, he was a cell phone taken. And who was he with all the time on TV screen all the time? Oh, Vince. That's right. He was Vince's little puppet. So, I mean, I just got to say, Triple H has done a lot of great things. That's minimal from both of us. Long-term storytelling is basically mostly all of that. But, I mean, props to Triple H for that. But with the good, nobody's perfect, right? As Miley Cyrus once said, or Hannah Montana, nobody's perfect. I got to work it. So we also have some poor decisions. My man, what are some of your hots? Now you're nots. What are some of your mimis?
The comebacks.
You might have the same list.
Yeah.
All right.
The comebacks, and I'm not talking about the football movie that came out with Ice Cube a couple years ago. I'm talking about
nice.
I'm talking about the returns of Braun Strowman. What's he been doing? Johnny Gargano. He wasn't even on Raw when it was in Cleveland just a few weeks ago.
He lives there.
Damage Control. I mean, they're jobbers. They're that's really what they are. They're enhancement talent. Poor Bailey, so much potential. Dexter Lumis had so many people excited about when he debuted or returned on Monday Night Raw. He showed up in the crowd, interrupted the Miz and AJ Styles match, and security was taking him out, and Triple H had the car accident backstage the next week, and the hand that was at the exit sign, just like, whose hand was that? What's all going on? It was Dexter Lumis, and he was like breaking into Raw, and they never really followed up on that. And then
the NXT that we went to came out under the ladder and helped.
Yeah, it helped Indy Hartwell
win the belt. And what happened? Like, just because he's injured doesn't mean they can't be talked about. Yeah.
And now what's Dexter Lumis doing? I mean, I have no idea. It's just the Bray Wyatt. I mean, that's the biggest one for me. Yeah, Bray Wyatt. I forgot about him because it tells you just how much I don't really care about Bray Wyatt right now. But yeah, like Bray Wyatt had one match and a lot of build, and the return of Bray Wyatt is still one of my favorite returns of all time. The way it was done, the way it was produced, it was all great. It was the way they did it after the show went off the air and all this stuff. It was just great. And then what they followed up with and what they brought was just none of it was good. And the pitch black match was a failure as well against LA Knight. And LA Knight's another one. I mean, LA Knight couldn't even. He's the most over guy you have on SmackDown. The fans are wanting to see LA Knight right now, and you don't even have him show up on SmackDown on TV. You have him in like a dark segment before the show starts. Like that's the SmackDown after Money in the Bank. Like the hottest guy, and you don't have him show up on TV. I mean, I was confusing by that. The draft the draft is another one for me that has been a complete and utter failure under Triple H. It's been a joke. You've got people bouncing from show to show. When you said this was going to be exclusive, even the day after you said this, the World Heavyweight Championship is going to be exclusive to Monday Night Raw, you then followed up with a press conference saying the World Heavyweight Championship is going to be featured in a tournament, and you're going to have a winner of Raw versus a winner of SmackDown competing for this top prize that's going to be defended exclusively on Raw. It's like you just talked out of both sides of your mouth, and now you have guys just showing up on show after show after show. So those are the biggest ones for me: the returns and the draft.
We're pretty much on the same page. The draft, for one, yeah, what a disaster. And I think it was more of a disaster because that was one of the few times that he appeared, and he hyped it up that it was going to be different than normal. No, it's the same. You guys ignored it and everything else you said with that. I agree with you on Bray Wyatt. Like, I've done this before where I've gone back and watched it. Go back and watch it. YouTube it if you have it somewhere and watch his return. It still gives me chills. I feel like John Travolta. They're multiplying, man. It's like, it is amazing. The crowd, the atmosphere. How did they get that wrong? And I know that now people are saying Bray's still injured, so it is an injury. That's why he's gone and this and that. But even up to it, like you said, he had returned and been around for 6 months and had one match. And if you're going to try to say he was not in wrestling shape, well, that's on you as well. As a, I'm in the field of being in charge, and, you have people who aren't performing, you make them perform. Damage control. Holy cow. Talk about another huge, that was SummerSlam, correct?
Yeah, SummerSlam last year. Mm-hmm.
So another thing like the Brock and Roman, it was phenomenal. Bailey came back. They brought Io Sky in, and a Dakota Kai, and it was like ready to pump up with it. And
they turned heel Becky Lynch back into babyface Becky Lynch.
Yeah, it was. And what did they do with that? A couple of the different ones I want to talk about is the women's division, man. He has done shit with it. And like you used to say with Stephanie, and now Stephanie's gone because she was so into it. But if people want to say, well, there's Trish and there's Zoe Stark and, Rhea, okay. But what's going on with the women's tag team division? That stuff is whack. It's been awful. They've got no push. And I'm sorry to break it to you, just because, what is Asuka doing with it? What is the other title done? Rhea Ripley's done something, but she's done that herself. And even the pushes with him. How many times has Rhea defended it that's not Natalya? Like, so once again, this women division, he has not, in my opinion, done well. And then I'm going to talk about something that I'm surprised you didn't say. Cody Rhodes, man. You bring back, which supposedly was Vince, but supposedly Triple H, and you have Cody Rhodes, and you hype him the F up to have him lose to Roman at Mania, and then you have him become the new John Cena, and we didn't even talk about his promo this week on Raw in our segment today. Same shit over and over. They have ruined Cody Rhodes, and maybe Triple H is holding a grudge because he hit the chair when he went over the throne or whatever, blah blah, with the hammer. And Cody Rhodes to me is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, failure of Triple H's tenure. But I don't want to end it. I've always been taught that you do the sandwich approach, right? The hamburger approach. You do a positive, negative, and a positive. I want to end it on a positive. I want to say thank you, Triple H, because WWE was falling to shit, and because of Triple H. And I'm going to say this, and you guys can quote me, because of Triple H, I think we are in competition with the Attitude Era of wrestling right now, because it made WWE better, which made AEW better, which made everybody better. And as fans right now, you are living an Attitude Era type of hype, and I'm going to stand by that. I think Roman might right now be bigger than Stone Cold and The Rock ever were. I'm going to say, people were going to give me shit probably and blow it up. You can look at the stats, look at the merch sales, look at everything that Roman has done. We are living in a time, and I lived through the Attitude Era, so don't even try to say I don't know.
Oh, me too.
I lived through it. I was there. I was old enough to understand it. So it's not like I was a baby. No, I was in high school, bruh. I lived through it. I get it. I think we are living in a great time, and I think that's all because of Triple H, because Vince's step was gone, and Triple H made it important, which made the competition back like WCW and WWE was in their heyday. Yeah,
no, I think that's all well said. Triple H, to me, he's made watching WWE. But when Vince was there full time and head of creative, sometimes it felt like a chore to watch the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Triple H has made it feel like a privilege. Now it's something I get to do as opposed to something that, I got to do. I have to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now it's like I look forward to watching Monday Night Raw. I look forward to watching SmackDown. I watch the entire shows too. I'm invested throughout the entire. Sometimes, do I tune off and do I do something else? Sure.
Yeah.
But 90% of the time, I'm invested in the entire show. Whereas with Vince, you really only cared about the opening segment and the main event, and the rest was just filler. So Triple H has brought back a lot of fun. He's brought fun back to wrestling, and
I agree.
I thank him for that.
I agree. So thank you, Trips. Thank you for your year.
Bow down to the king. Bow down to the
We're not worthy.